for fans to get to the racetrack safely.
Good Day Chicago at 6 starts now.
Now at 6, a partial government shutdown in full swing. And it looks like it could last a little longer. We're going to tell you why Republicans are now scrambling.
And it is something we have been warning you about, well, for years now. The Real ID deadline, it is here. What it could cost you if you don't have one.
Plus, will it be 6 more weeks of winter or an early spring? Are we all going to band together to kidnap that groundhog if he doesn't give us the right answer today? It is Groundhog Day. We are live waiting for Punxsutawney Phil to make his decision.
And taking a live look outside this morning on this Groundhog Day. Not much of a view there as we try to look at Grant Park. And check in with Mike Kaplan in just a moment. But before that, we want to say good morning.
Yeah, hopefully you had a great weekend. We're glad you're with us on this Monday morning. I'm Natalie Bumke.
I'm Anthony Ponce. Let's head straight over to Mr. Kaplan.
Look, I and our news department, we are all very closely following the events that are taking place first in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. It's close. They're getting ready to bring him out. Okay. Of course, in about an hour, we got Woodstock Willie, our local groundhog, is going to be doing his thing. So we'll know very shortly whether spring is just around the corner. We have this morning a couple of brief snow showers, but more troublesome freezing drizzle. Not everywhere, but you can see a couple little speckles of freezing drizzle crossing the area. And watch out in your driveway. Watch out, if you're going shopping, parking lot might be a little bit slippery out there. We'll be drying out, though, by 9. Cloud cover lingers at noon, 27 degrees. Maybe some peaks of sun by 4 o'clock with a temperature of 27. The main issue this morning is going to be that little patchy freezing drizzle. Natalie, I think the main roads are going to be in good shape, but watch out on some of those side streets.
Okay, thank you, Mike, for that reminder. We have one major incident on your freeways this morning. This is on westbound 90 at Barrington Road, a multi-vehicle crash. Gabby tells me it involves a car, a private ambulance, and a semi that rolled over. So you know that's going to take a while to clean up. Traffic is being forced off. Again, this is westbound 90 at Barrington Road, but they are directing you on where to re-enter the roadway. So hopefully that doesn't lead to too big of a hiccup in your commute. All of your L trains running smoothly this morning. Only issue on the Metra is one of the Union Pacific Northwest trains is not running due to mechanical issues. Looking at those travel times, every single one of them on the Kennedy, Eisenhower, Stevenson, and Dan Ryan into the city are under average time, so you are looking good this morning. Well, even though we saw snow overnight, we could see the end of winter soon.
Okay, that is if Punxsutawney Phil says so. It is Groundhog Day, as we just mentioned. We are anxiously awaiting Phil's prediction. Look at that. Yes, the hype is building. People are clearly excited there, if anxiously kind of waiting Phil's prediction here. If he does see a shadow, 6 more weeks of winter, everybody, unfortunately. If not, we got an early spring. Yeah, tens of thousands of people.
These dance moves.
Yeah, have actually descended on Gobbler's Knob for the big ceremony. Yep, we're live. Could happen any minute. We will break in to coverage as soon as this happens. So stand by, everybody.
And then here in Illinois, we have our own groundhog, of course. Woodstock Willie will make his prediction around 7 a.m., and we'll carry that for you as well. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration ranked all of the different weather predicting animals based on accuracy. And so this isn't just one or the other. This is all of them combined. And in case you're curious, Willie came out at number 7, way above Punxsutawney Phil, who landed at 17.
Wow.
So our local guy is more accurate. Well, after years of warnings, the Real ID deadline is finally here. And when I say years, like this whole thing started in the early 2000s. But it could cost you if you don't have one yet, if you've dragged your feet. Roseanne Tellez is live at O'Hare with more. Roseanne.
Well, this is one story you definitely can't say we didn't warn you. This has been going on for a long time. But the good news is, even if for some reason you've been under a rock or you didn't get this done, I'm sure some people have good reasons, you may still be able to board your flight today. The bad news is you will have to pay that new TSA $45 fee. Now, if you have a valid passport or a military ID, you're okay. Those are acceptable forms of ID, and plenty of people we talk to are carrying those today. But if you don't have that passport or real ID already, you can use Confirm ID. It's a system that verifies your identity using your name, address, and birth date. You do it online at TSA.gov. And they really encourage you to do that at home before you head to the airport. You download that system. The TSA says you can also add digital IDs to your phone with passport information. One passenger told us she was prepared, but several people on her flight had issues.
My flight last night, I heard him talking about it.
Right. And did you have sympathy for these people, or what was going through?
Really? I mean, if you're going to travel, you got to figure this stuff out. The guy was like, well, I went to the DMV last week. I'm like, why would you wait until a week before your flight?
I bet that's the guy who pulls out his checkbook at the cashier after he's been standing there 10 minutes, right? We all know people who are going to put it off till the last minute. But the good news is most of the people we've talked to today, many of them had their passport, but we haven't talked to anybody who hasn't had some form of identification that's already accepted here. Back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, Roseanne, thank you.
The man charged in the death of a pregnant woman in Downers Grove is back in jail.
Gabriella Primus has that and the other top stories that we are following for you. Gabriella.
Yeah, so an update kind of on this really horrible story. 19-year-old Nidas Ravoukas was hospitalized in critical condition after authorities say he purposely injured himself in jail. Ravoukas is accused of stabbing 30-year-old pregnant mother Eliza Morales and setting her apartment on fire. According to court documents, he was upset about the condition of a truck he bought from her husband on Facebook Marketplace. Ravoukas is charged with first-degree murder, armed robbery, and arson, among other counts. A Hinsdale spa owner accused of taping his customers with a hidden camera is expected to be back in court today. Jason Spencer is charged with 5 felonies. Police say they started investigating Reflection Spa after getting an anonymous tip. They found hidden cameras in treatment rooms along with a recording device and hard drive. This afternoon, high school students on Chicago's north side plan to walk out of class to protest ramped up immigration enforcement. The students are expected to rally at River Park, where a couple of city council members will also speak. Another water main break in Dixmoor is affecting more than half of the community. The break happened Sunday at 139th between Dixie Highway and Thornton Road. This is just days after a water main break forced schools to close. No word yet on when crews will get this one fixed up, but of course we'll keep you updated here and also on Fox32Chicago.com when we learn some more. Natalie Anthony.
Okay, Gabriella, thank you very much. Peoria police have arrested a man accused of shooting a sheriff's deputy. It happened on Saturday night. Deputies say they pulled over Larry Bell along Western Avenue, but he got out and ran off. While trying to escape, he allegedly shot at deputies, hitting one of them several times. That deputy is in serious condition at the hospital this morning. Police eventually found Bell inside an abandoned building. They say he did have drugs on him. Bell is now facing multiple charges, including attempted murder. And today marks 18 years since the shocking murder of 5 female store employees at a Tinley Park Lane Bryant location. A man posing as a delivery driver pulled out a gun, forced the women into a back room, and fatally shot them. A store employee who was shot survived and gave police a description of the killer. To this day, that case remains unsolved.
A partial government shutdown will run until at least tomorrow, if not longer. The shutdown went into effect Friday when lawmakers failed to pass a funding bill by the midnight deadline. House Speaker Mike Johnson plans to hold a vote tomorrow to reopen the government, but Democrats say they're not going to budge unless changes are made to ICE enforcement.
We held our ground and made clear our demand. The Senate must separate the Homeland Security's bill out of the large appropriations bill and allow this chamber to make real changes to overhaul ICE and to end the violence.
We have to allow ICE to do its job. We have to allow Border Patrol to do its job, and we're going to make sure they have the funding to do that.
Democrats' demands include requiring agents to remove masks, identify themselves, and use body cameras. Today, a 5-year-old boy detained by ICE officers last month is back home in Minnesota.
It is a story that outraged critics of the Trump administration's crackdown in Minnesota. Brian Jackson is here with more. Brian.
Liam Ramos and his dad, who is originally from Ecuador, were released from a family detention center in Texas on Sunday. The two were taken into custody back on January the 20th. Neighbors and school officials claim that ICE officers used the preschooler as, quote, bait. by telling him to knock on his door so that his mother would answer. But the Department of Homeland Security tells a different story, alleging Liam's father ran off, leaving the child in a running car in their driveway. Government officials say that the father entered the U.S. illegally in 2024, but the family attorney says that he has a pending asylum claim which allows him to stay here. On Saturday, Mayor Brandon Johnson signed an executive order requiring Chicago police to investigate allegations of abuse by federal immigration officers. Johnson says police will not be arresting federal agents, but instead laying the groundwork for potential investigations into their conduct.
We need to send a clear message. If the federal government will not hold these rogue actors accountable, then Chicago will do everything in our power to bring these agents to justice.
The executive order comes after federal agents shot and killed 2 protesters in Minneapolis over the past 3 weeks. During Operation Midway Blitz here in the Chicagoland area, the ICE enforcement in the last year, 2 people were shot, 1 fatally. Mayor Johnson says that the executive order will give police the power to go back and investigate those shootings as well. Back over to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Brian. Back out live now to Gobbler's Knob, where we are awaiting the appearance of Punxsutawney Phil, who's going to give us hopefully a prediction we can all get behind. This is a tradition that dates back to 1887. And did you know, fine gentlemen sitting on either side of me, that in 1995, Phil flew all the way to Chicago for an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show. So there is a Chicago connection to this Punxsutawney Phil. Yes.
Interesting. Well, of course, we have Woodstock Willie. Yes. He's going to do his thing, and apparently we are ready to go live from McHenry County when Willie makes his prediction. But, you know, Phil is kind of the senior prognosticator in that club, so we want to hear what they both have to say because it determines. They always know. They always. It's going to be spring just around. Look, I'm ready. I hope they don't see their shadows so we can get to spring in a hurry. Today, another chilly one, but the brand of cold that we have this week is different from what we've had the past couple of weeks. We have a few chances for light snow showers, no big snowstorm in sight. Temperatures remain below normal, I think most of, if not all, of the next 7 days. After that, there's a change, though. It won't be as cold this week, with a chance of maybe hitting freezing on Friday. But next week, hold out hope, hold out hope. Here's what you've got now. Last week, we couldn't even get a 22, and this is where we are now. 22 at O'Hare, Woodstock, Waukegan, LaSalle, Peru at 27, 23 at Gary. By the way, where Phil is coming out of his hole in Punxsutawney, PA, it's 0. So it's going to be much warmer for Woodstock Willie this morning. Still, some freezing drizzle. There have been a couple reports of a little bit of light snow mixed in across southeast Wisconsin. Not a big deal, but it doesn't take much freezing drizzle to cause some slippery spots. Watch out, especially just walking out in your own neighborhood. Natalie, Anthony, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mike. The countdown to Super Bowl 60 is here, and it's not just the Seahawks and the Patriots preparing. We're going to go inside Levi's Stadium to show you all the work it takes to put on the big game.
Fox 32 News is brought to you.
Okay, welcome back. It is Groundhog Day as we take a live look. In Pennsylvania here, we are tracking the status of Punxsutawney Phil, who should make an appearance on stage any minute. Now, if Phil sees his shadow, that does mean 6 more weeks of winter. So let's hope that doesn't happen. If not, we got an early spring. It could happen at any minute here. Apparently the crowd, 10K.
Whoa.
10K.
I was going to say it rivals Times Square on New Year's Eve.
I mean, I can't even imagine turning out like that at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning.
Well, let's listen in, Anthony, and see what this guy has to say.
For the very first time. Wow. I hope you're having a great time. How many guests have visited us 2 or more times? Woo, we love it. Welcome back. All right, now this is it. How many people are celebrating their birthday? Nice. Happy birthday. Well, let's get down to it. Rob McCoy, Downpour. He does an awesome groundhog call. He's going to say groundhog, and you're going to say groundhog. Something like that. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hey guys, how you doing today? Are we cold? I didn't think so. Are we ready? Groundhog. I don't know, guys. Come on, let's do it again. Groundhog. Awesome, awesome, guys.
Mr. Vice President.
Yes, sir.
Dan McGinley, will you please introduce the members of the Inner Circle?
Be happy to. Thank you. Welcome again. Happy Groundhog Day to all. It's time to get serious. We need to hear what Phil has to say. But before we do that, we want to introduce those standing on the stage who make Groundhog Day possible. First of all, I want to acknowledge all the dignitaries that are joining us here on stage. Been here all morning, and they're a big contributor to Pennsylvania and Punxsutawney and Groundhog Day. Thank you to them. The Emeritus member of the Inner Circle, Tom Uberti, big win maker. There's an Inner Circle member that we need to acknowledge. Former president, former handler, Bill Deely is no longer with us. Deely. Bill Deely was a big part of this for many, many years, and we miss him. Now, for our current Inner Circle, please say hello to Patrick Osakowitz Ozone. Pat Cassidy is the head huntsman. Former President Jeff Lundy, fair weather man. Farkas, frostbite. Jay Lundy is overcast. Say hello again to Jason Grusky, big chill.
Okay, they've got some introductions, some other traditions, rituals, pomp and circumstance to get to before the actual announcement. Mike Kaplan, you are our seasoned Punxsutawney Phil viewer.
Yes, I've seen this show before.
Yes, indeed. Takes him a minute.
Takes him a while to introduce the luminaries before we get to the real star of the show. But then we're going to want to hear his full proclamation. So I'm going to, get to the weather here and hopefully tell you what to expect today and for the rest of the week. And then we'll let Punxsutawney Phil let you know whether we're going to have that early spring or whether winter lives on. There's still some light freezing drizzle out there, maybe a couple of snowflakes falling. Doesn't show up that well on radar, but there are a few little speckles, maybe a couple little snowflakes mixed in there right over the Kennedy-Edens Junction, if I can use some interstates as a convenient point of reference. Temperature-wise, it's at least in the 20s, better than it has been. 22 at O'Hare, Lakefront, Aurora, 21 at Valparaiso, Benton Harbor. Woodstock, where Willie's coming out in about an hour, it is 20 degrees. That's 20 degrees warmer than it is in Punxsutawney, PA. It's cold there. 28 for the high today. A lot of cloud cover. We've got this early morning little freezing, we'll call it snizzle, some little freezing drizzle and some snow mixed together. But look at the 7-day forecast. A glimmer of hope, especially at the end of the week when we could have a couple of 30-degree days. Only some light snow events tonight, tomorrow night, maybe Thursday night into Friday. No big snowstorms in sight. Next week, that's when I think we have a prolonged thaw on the way. All right, let's check in with the commute. Natalie.
All right. All of your travel times into the city looking good. We are tracking an incident outbound. This is on westbound 90, the Jane Addams at Barrington Road. Multi-vehicle crash involving a car, a private ambulance, and a semi that rolled over. It's going to take them a while to clean that up. So traffic is being forced off at Barrington Road. Again, this is westbound 90. All of your other commuting modes of transport look great. So let's check those travel times on the Kennedy. Coming in from O'Hare, 31 minutes. On the Eisenhower 390 to downtown, 28 minutes. On the Stevenson, I-355 to the Drive, 26 minutes. And on the Dan Ryan, 95th to downtown, 24 minutes. Well, as we mentioned earlier, it is Groundhog Day, and we are hearing Punxsutawney Phil is about to give his prediction.
Let's take another listen here, everybody.
About whether he sees his shadow or not. If it's my shadow I see, 6 more weeks of winter there will be. No shadow, an early spring. He will then have me choose the appropriate scroll, and it'll be read by the Vice President, Dan McGinley. Gentlemen, are you ready? Daybreaker, please place the royal red carpet. Moonshine, please place the scrolls upon the stump. Now it's a tradition to get Phil fired up by chanting Phil, 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 Phil.
I see you, Iceman!
It's Punxsutawney Phil! Gentlemen, gather round. We have a scroll.
Okay. Everybody in? Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Now, on this February 2nd, Punxsutawney Phil, the seer of seers, prognosticator of all prognosticators, was awakened from his wintry nap at dawn on Gobbler's Knob. Phil looked to the skies and then, speaking in groundhogese, directed President Dunkel to the proper scroll, which reads, "It's my great honor to answer your annual call. So I rise again this morning to greet you all. But today I wake thinking of numbers and time. America turns 250 and I'm at least 139. Let's celebrate all, young, old, babies, or millennial, and kick off America's semi-quincentennial. We look to the future and not just the past. So I suppose this party could use a forecast. It is my job this February 2 to look to the skies and report back to you that there is a shadow here on my ground. 6 more weeks of winter abound.
What the womp womp?
Yeah.
Sound effect?
I don't think
Sorry,
we do.
Nat.
I'm looking at, though, accuracy here. He's only accurate 35 to 40% of the time.
Oh, so we have that going for us.
We do, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Which
you know?
is nice. And the other thing we have going for us back here locally, in about 33 minutes, Woodstock Willie will give us the true prognostication of what's about to happen. But according to Phil, buckle in, everybody. 6 more weeks of winter. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday morning. And we just found out, according to Punxsutawney Phil, 6 more weeks of winter this season. Kind of disappointing.
Might be time to retire that tradition, don't you think? Maybe.
Either that or turn our attention toward Woodstock Willie.
That's right. And he is more accurate, by the way. So we've got that going for us.
Half hour.
Let's go over some of your headlines this morning. New rules for SNAP recipients begin. We're going to break down the requirements and how it affects Illinois.
And lawmakers are back at the drawing board. They are trying to end the partial governmental shutdown. We will tell you what the remaining sticking points are. But before we get to that, let's send it over to Mike Kaplan. 6 more weeks of winter, unfortunately, according to one forecast.
What do rodents really know, quite frankly, But yeah, that's what the Punxsutawney Phil had to say moments ago. You saw it live right here on Fox Chicago. We have our own little taste of winter out there, but you know what? This week is not as bad as last week. It was so miserable. It seemed like January wouldn't end. Now at least we have a more tolerable brand of cold in place. So instead of single digits and teens, let's get to the upper 20s. Still colder than normal, but we can deal with this. This morning, the only issue, a little bit of freezing drizzle out there, and sometimes that's really sneaky. Watch out for that just walking in your own neighborhood. Make sure the kids going to school today know it might be a little bit slippery out there. Temperatures are in the 20s now, including 22 at Aurora, O'Hare, the lakefront, 23 at Michigan City. Woodstock, where Willie's coming out momentarily, it is 20 degrees. 6:32, let's check those travel times. Natalie.
You know what? They're looking fabulous, Mike. Everything is below average. You're in the green coming into the city. We have one issue going out on the Jane Addams westbound. This is westbound 90 at Barrington Road, multi-vehicle crash. And now I'm seeing there's gapers delays on the inbound side, on the eastbound side of 90. So make sure you're aware of that. Otherwise, you're looking good on the Metro and on the L. So good luck getting into work today.
Yeah, stay safe out there. All right, more than 400,000 people in Illinois could lose their SNAP benefits under new requirements that just went into effect yesterday.
Those changes were made as part of the president's One Big Beautiful Bill, which his administration says will help cut down on fraud.
All right, Saquon joining us now here on set to break down what all this means for people who do rely on SNAP, and I know there are many here in Illinois.
Yeah, you guys, this could have major impacts. I mean, we're talking about 42 million people across the country who rely on these SNAP benefits just to put food on the table. And if you remember at the end of last year, they already kind of felt the impacts after losing access to those benefits during the government shutdown, which were later restored. Now, the president's so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, which passed last summer, essentially makes it harder for people to be eligible for SNAP with tighter work requirements. And under that bill, $186 billion in SNAP funding were also cut through the year 2034. So here are the new work requirements, again, now in effect. Anyone between the ages of 18 and 64 must either work, volunteer, or participate in some sort of work or educational training program for at least 80 hours a month. Under previous rules, the maximum age for work requirements was 54. Now, veterans, young adults who grew up in foster care, and people experiencing homelessness are no longer exempt from these work requirements like they used to be, again, under previous rules. And people in the U.S. under asylum and refugee laws are no longer eligible for SNAP benefits at all. Now, there are exemptions, though, and that includes people living with disabilities, people who are pregnant, or if you have a dependent at home under the age of 14. If you are exempt, you are encouraged to fill out and submit a form as soon as possible. Now, people who don't meet these new requirements will only be eligible for benefits for 3 months every 3 years. And the date to watch here, guys, is May 1st, as they could lose access to those benefits starting on that day.
Okay, Say, thank you for summarizing all of that for us. In the meantime, the man charged in the death of a pregnant woman in Downers Grove is back in jail.
Gabriella Primus has that and some of the other top stories we are following. Gabriella?
Yeah, we're trying to bring you the latest on this developing story. Now, 19-year-old Nidis Ravutkas was hospitalized in critical condition after authorities say he purposely injured himself in jail. Ravutkas is accused of stabbing 30-year-old pregnant mother Eliza Morales and setting her apartment on fire. According to court documents, he was upset about the condition of a truck he bought from her husband on Facebook Marketplace. Ravutkas is charged with first-degree murder, armed robbery, and arson, among other counts. A Hinsdale Spa owner accused of taping his customers with a Let's see. Taping customers with a hidden camera is expected back in court today. Jason Spencer is charged with 5 felonies. Police say they started investigating Reflection Spa after getting an anonymous tip. They found hidden cameras in treatment rooms along with a recording device and a hard drive. This afternoon, high school students on Chicago's North Side plan to walk out of class to protest some ramped up immigration enforcement. The students are expected to rally at River Park, where a couple city council members will speak. Also, there's another water main break in Dixmoor, and it's affecting more than half of the community. The break happened Sunday at 139th between Dixie Highway and Thornton Road, just days after a water main break forced schools to close. No word yet on when crews will get things fixed up, but of course we'll keep you updated here and also on Fox32Chicago.com when we learn some more. Anthony.
Okay, thank you, Gabrielle. Appreciate it. Peoria police have arrested a man accused of shooting a sheriff's deputy. This happened on Saturday night. Deputies say they pulled over Larry Bell along Western Avenue, but he got out, ran off. And while trying to escape, he allegedly shot at deputies, hitting one of them several times. That deputy is right now in serious condition at the hospital. Police eventually found Bell inside an abandoned building. They say he did have drugs on him. He is now facing multiple charges, including attempted murder.
A partial government shutdown will run until at least tomorrow, if not longer. The shutdown went into effect Friday when lawmakers failed to pass a funding bill by the midnight deadline. House Speaker Mike Johnson plans to hold a vote tomorrow to reopen the government, but Democrats say they won't budge unless changes are made to ICE enforcement.
We held our ground and made clear our demand. The Senate must separate the Homeland Security's bill out of the large appropriations bill and allow this chamber to make real changes to overhaul ICE and to end the violence.
We have to allow ICE to do its job. We have to allow Border Patrol to do its job, and we're going to make sure they have the funding to do that.
Democrats' demands include requiring ICE agents to remove masks, identify themselves, and use body cameras. 6:37 now, and it's time to turn it over to the only person, along with Caitlin and Mark, that I will trust, and Emily, for a forecast.
Well, you know, but today we give a little bit of credence to what these woodchucks have.
I don't think today at all, because I don't care for the response that he gave us.
Well, what if Willie comes through with better news? What if he sees no shadow, which would mean that spring is around the corner?
Then I'll rethink it.
I'm going with Willie.
All right.
I'm going with Willie. He ranks 7 on the list.
Okay.
The official list
of local
of all the animal prognosticators. Phil was number 17. Willie is 7, so he's got way more credentials.
We're gonna find out about a half hour from now what Woodstock Willie has to say. I want to at least share what I feel is some optimism about where temperatures may be headed. Not so much this week. This week's better than last week, but let me show you the extended temperature outlook map here, which shows something we haven't seen on this map in a long time, and that's some orange over Chicagoland. This is a forecast for the period February 10th through 16th, so a week from tomorrow through essentially the following Monday. And the expectation is that warmer than normal temperatures will dominate that period over roughly the western 2/3 of the country, with the cold kind of squished off into the upper Ohio Valley and the Northeast. This is a definite turn in how things have looked for the past few weeks. Now, today's still going to be colder than normal. Better than it was last week. I'll take a 28. West winds at 5 to 15. The issue this morning, we've got a little bit of fog out there, some drizzle, and with temperatures below freezing, it's freezing drizzle, which can lead to a light, sneaky glaze on untreated surfaces. If you're going to the store this morning, you hop out of the car, it may be slippery, so be careful. 16 tonight, chance for a couple of light snow showers late after 10 o'clock tonight. Not a big deal. We're talking ½ inch or less out of that. Maybe some lake effect snow for northwest Indiana tomorrow. Again, not a big deal. We'll hit 28 degrees. A snow shower possible into Wednesday morning on a cold front. Then a 30 on Thursday with a chance for some light snow Thursday night and Friday. No big snowstorms in sight. It does get colder over the weekend, but that is the prelude to next week's bigger warm-up. All right, back to you.
Fox 32 News is brought to you by
Welcome back. We're still months away from basketball season, but the Chicago Sky is already making headlines. A minority owner has sued principal owner Michael Alter, claiming that he misrepresented the value of the franchise for his own benefit. The lawsuit alleges that Alter seized a majority stake at an unfair price to boost his own shares at the expense of minority partners' shares. Now, the Sky posted a response from Alter's attorney on the website that reads in part, quote, "This lawsuit is completely meritless. We look forward to defending our case through the appropriate legal channels and believe this matter will be disposed of quickly."
The countdown is on to the Super Bowl. Both the Seahawks and the Patriots touch down Sunday in San Jose to start prepping for the big game. Crews are hard at work getting the field at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California in tip-top shape for Super Bowl 60. Before the Seahawks face off against the Patriots, they spend days installing the field before mowing, aerating, and fertilizing the grass. Experts, meanwhile, are also testing the safety of the field using a machine called the Beast. Workers simulate player movements to see how their cleats will interact with the surface.
The Beast will apply loads that are equivalent to the loads NFL players apply to the surface when they're playing. We've studied those conditions in a biomechanical way and used those data to inform what conditions this device needs to test for.
Who knew there was so much that went into it? But the field isn't just being primed for the athletes, with Latin superstar Bad Bunny this year's halftime show performer.
All right, the presidential election is more than 2 years away right now, but Illinois is already making a push to have the first Democratic primary. The Democratic National Committee says they would hear pitches from 12 different states that want to be first on the primary calendar, and that includes Illinois. Now, usually the first primaries have been held in New Hampshire, Iowa, Nevada, and then South Carolina, but there has been a push recently to change the lineup to include more diverse states. And new numbers show the Republican National Committee is outpacing Democrats in the crush for cash ahead of the midterms. According to the Federal Election Commission filings, the RNC held a nearly $100 million advantage at the end of 2025. House Speaker Mike Johnson said Sunday that the numbers increased the party's chances at holding on to its thin majority in the House and growing it with more members.
Unfortunately, it is official. We are getting 6 more weeks of winter.
We say official, but we're waiting for Woodstock Willie to make his presence known here. At least according to Punxsutawney Phil, what Natalie just said is true. He made his Groundhog Day prediction a few moments ago. Apparently he saw his shadow, which ain't good.
No, but it's not a done deal, as Anthony said, until we hear from Woodstock Willie. We are live in Woodstock, Illinois. You can see the festivities getting underway there. He's going to make his prediction around 7 a.m. And again, this is a live look at the crowd. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration actually ranked him more accurate than Phil, so we will see.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. It's about 15 minutes away. All right, the storms may have blown out of the U.S., but the cleanup in many parts of the country is just getting started. We will show you the ripple effect as well on airports across the country when we come back.
Weather Authority Chief Meteorologist
All right, happy Monday morning, everybody, as we take a live look at the bean. Not going to be quite as cold this coming work week, which is good.
Goodness,
Yeah,
yes.
we're going in the right direction, everybody.
Something to look forward to. The city of Harvey will pick a new mayor today after the death of Mayor Christopher Clark. Gabriella Primus is following today's top stories.
I know, and so sad. Clark was elected back in 2019, and he was reelected in 2023. His death was announced just on Friday. He was a father and a grandfather. Clark was said to be battling an illness and in and out of the hospital for the last 6 weeks. 6 alderpersons will choose someone to serve out the rest of his term, which is a little over 2 years. The special city council meeting will be at 6 p.m. at Harvey City Hall. New work requirements are in effect for people who receive SNAP benefits. Adults up to age 64 without any young children are now required to work or volunteer at least 80 hours per month to maintain their eligibility for food assistance. Illinois state officials estimate as many as 400,000 people could lose their benefits under this new rule. SNAP recipients have until March 1st to show proof of their work or volunteer status. If you're flying and don't have the real ID, the new fee is now in effect. For $45, you can use the Confirm ID system to verify your identity using your name, address, and birth date online at tsa.gov. Confirm ID is valid for 10 days of travel, meaning if you are taking a longer vacation, maybe 2 weeks, you have to pay the fee more than once. Travelers who don't have the real ID can avoid the fee if they have a passport or military ID. Natalie.
Thank you, Gabby. Music superstars took center stage at the Grammy Awards Sunday at Crypto.com Arena. That's the first time I've said that in Los Angeles.
That's what it's called. They change names so often.
Crypto.com.
Crypto.com, that is. One artist making history at this ceremony. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin shows us some of the big moments.
Puerto Rico.
Bad Bunny made Grammys history with Debí Tirar Más Fotos becoming the first Spanish-language album to take the category.
I'm going to say Eyes Out.
Earlier, when he won Best Música Urbana Album, he immediately spoke out against ICE. Next week, he performs the Super Bowl halftime show. The packed performance lineup started with Rosé and Bruno Mars. Among others taking the stage, Best Pop Vocal Album winner Lady Gaga, Best New Artist Olivia Dean, Sabrina Carpenter, Justin Bieber, and many more.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
Song of the Year went to Billie Eilish for Wildflower. She was one of the attendees wearing Ice Out pins.
Welcome, everybody, to music's biggest night.
Host Trevor Noah emceed for a 6th and final time. He had a few political jabs, including calling out Nicki Minaj.
She is still at the White House with Donald Trump discussing very important issues.
You were a candle in the dark. Reba McEntire, Brandy Clark, and Lucas Nelson started the In Memoriam. Rock stars including Slash and Post Malone paid tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. Miss Lauryn Hill joined a tribute to D'Angelo and Roberta Flack. The Dr. Dre Impact Award went to Pharrell Williams. Cher received a Lifetime Achievement Award, left the stage, then was brought back to announce Record of the Year, Luther by Kendrick Lamar with SZA. Earlier, winning Best Rap Album for GNX made Kendrick the most awarded rapper in Grammy's history.
Some of the outfits, by the way. Little eyebrow raising.
Oh, I'll have to go look that up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Also, director Steven Spielberg just earned his first Grammy. He received the award for his documentary, Music by John Williams was the title of it. Spielberg also has an Emmy, an Oscar, and a Tony, which means he has earned EGOT status.
Oh.
Yeah. Spielberg is one of only 21 people who have won all 4 major American entertainment awards. Congrats to Mr. Spielberg.
Yes.
That's big.
2 major storms in the space of a week have done a number on travel. Thousands of flights have been canceled and delayed across the U.S. And as airport crews scramble to clear runways, we are seeing the problems continue into the work week. Some people are still waiting to take off from the weekend.
The flight was delayed, obviously, because of the weather. I was supposed to be flying to Colorado. And, yeah, I think I've been here for about 12 hours now. And it was on the plane, wait for all the de-icing to take place, then back to the gate because the runway closed, and then off the plane, on the plane. So it was, it's been a long day.
But he's in good spirits. At last check, FlightAware was showing more than 9,500 delays. Most of the problems on the East Coast, with Boston at the center of the so-called misery map.
Department of Streets and Sand just announced the finalists for the city's annual Name a Snowplow contest. Here we go. We have Blizzard of Oz, Caleb Chilliams, Derek Feroz, Chance the Scraper, Scraper, okay, and Monty the Piping Plower.
People are so creative.
Yeah,
I love it.
I like Monty. Monty, that's pretty good. All right, you can vote for up to 6 names by Valentine's Day. That's February 14th, gentlemen. Go to chicagoshovels.org to cast your votes.
And Mike Kaplan joins us now, and we were trying to come up with a clever musician name for Mike Kaplan.
What have you got?
In honor of I said the
Bad Bunny.
the obscure ostrich is my vote if we're going with an emotion and an animal.
I like that. I want to do
adjective.
alliteration. I want to do alliteration. That's important there. A lot of folks are sad today because Punxsutawney Phil.
Yes.
Saw his shadow, and that means 6 more weeks of winter. But that's only in Pennsylvania. We've got our own dude coming out in a few minutes, Woodstock Willie, and he better not see his shadow. If he doesn't, then here in Chicagoland, spring is just around the corner. Well, meteorological spring has only got about 3.5 weeks left. Today, still feels kind of wintry out there. Looking at our futurecast, cloud cover is going to linger. There's still a little bit of freezing drizzle out there. That will be going away in the next couple of hours. Maybe a peak or two of sunshine late this afternoon. Tonight, we get a couple of brief snow showers. Doesn't look like a big deal. Tomorrow, maybe some lake effect, also light stuff targeting mainly northwest Indiana. This is not going to cripple any traffic in that direction, but you may encounter at least some snow coming down off of the lake. On Wednesday, we'll move a cold front through here. That is going to knock temperatures back a little bit before a mild warm-up as we go towards Thursday and Friday. Looking at the forecast for snowfall amounts, tonight, not much. You don't have to maybe recoat the ground, perhaps a little bit more there in northwest Indiana, but nobody's getting a lot of snow. This whole week, nobody's getting a big snowstorm. 28 today. Watch out for some slippery spots this morning on untreated pavement, especially like your driveway, your back porch. That'll be the slipperiest of whatever you see. Tonight down to 16. We'll get to 30 here. Plus, Thursday and Friday before a weekend cool down, then it gets warmer next week. Natalie, what about the traffic as we head towards 7?
We still have this one issue that is plaguing us this morning on the westbound Jane Addams. So westbound I-90 at Barrington Road, multi-vehicle accident there, and it is certainly slowing things up. And then on the other side of the road, the eastbound side, coming in toward the city on 90, we have Gapers delays. So not the start to your Monday morning that you wanted. I'm not seeing any issues on Metra, no issues on your L trains. Let's go over those travel times. They're still looking pretty good. If you're on the Kennedy and you're coming in from O'Hare, 41 minutes. On the Eisenhower, 390 to downtown, 42 minutes. On the Stevenson, I-355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive, 34 minutes. And on the Dan Ryan coming in from 95th, we got 32 minutes. And plenty more Good Day Chicago ahead. We are anticipating Woodstock Willie's prediction, and we'll have that for you live coming up. Stick with us. Welcome back. Here's the latest on Good Day Chicago just before 7 a.m. For the first time in nearly 2 years, the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt has officially reopened for limited pedestrian traffic. The reopening marks a critical step in the second phase of a ceasefire agreement. The Rafah gateway had been sealed since Israeli forces seized the terminal back in 2024.
Jury selection begins today in Santa Fe as New Mexico takes Meta to court. The state's lawsuit claims that Facebook and Instagram have become a, quote, breeding ground for predators. following an undercover probe into how the platforms handle sexual solicitation. Meta calls these allegations sensationalist, but prosecutors argue that the company is responsible for how its systems distribute such content. Opening statements are set for February 9th.
The Kennedy Center will close for 2 years for renovations on July 4th.